people ask me all the time over the course of the Trump years, what's he like for those who haven't met him? And I always say he's in some ways a very simple person. He's complicated in some ways, but in some ways a very simple person. If you say nice things about him on television, he will call you up and tell you how smart you are. And that's how I met Donald Trump. I saw him give a speech at CPAC in 2011 when he was thinking about running for president that year against Barack Obama. And he gave a speech at CPAC that was extraordinarily well received. And most of my colleagues who covered it, treated it like it was kind of a joke, treated it like he was a carnival barker. And certainly there were lines in that speech that were typical Trump. They were intended to insult or incite.
And I will fight to end Obamacare and replace it. We don't have free trade. We don't have fair trade. And I'm a fair trade believer. I love open markets, but not when China's manipulating their currency, not when all of these other factors are taking place. We are rebuilding China. We're rebuilding China. You go to China right now, they're building the biggest airports in the world, the greatest airports, the best everything. And they're doing it because we buy so much of their product. And the reason we buy their product is because their currency is so low, and they have it artificially so low, that it makes it almost impossible for our companies to compete. Now, I'll tell you the one thing that's very important. Our companies make a better product. That's very important to know. We make a better product. I wish there was a candidate that I saw that would be fantastic, because I love what I'm doing. In fact, I have a great club that's 15 minutes away. By the way, Ron Paul cannot get elected, I'm sorry to tell you.
A lot of what he said and the reaction it got from the crowd, I saw as quite powerful. CPAC, as many of you know, is an annual event where a lot of people thinking of running for the Republican presidential nomination show up to talk. And Trump had the best received speech. And so I went on television and I said, not only was it well received, but focus on what he said. The themes he talked about, the substantive ones, apart from the insults, were things that everyone listening here would soon hear and would understand to be part of Donald Trump's appeal. Trade, China, the establishment, the importance of shaking up how things are going in Washington, the long-term decline of the American economy and his claim that he could turn that around. Donald Trump understood a lot about what was going on in America. And as I said, he gave people the impression that he was going to fix it. When he talked about change, he talked about it in a fiery and aggressive way. He was a populist all the way back to 2011. And then when he ran in 2015, 2016, same thing. And even as he served in office, you may not like his policies. You may not like how he took advantage of the big bad four, but you shouldn't doubt the fact that A, he understood it, and B, those sentiments are alive right now. Joe Biden, I would tell you, and sort of my central point for the evening, Joe Biden is the opposite of someone like Donald Trump, someone who speaks with passion and understanding about the big bad four. He is as about as establishment a figure as one could imagine. And the great irony to me is a guy who is so pro-establishment, such a creature of the establishment, has been elected at a time when the big bad four are just as raging now as they were when Bill Clinton took office, when George Bush took office, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump. Joe Biden is not someone who is a populist. Joe Biden is not someone who, I believe, has ever talked about the economy in a way that is fundamental to understanding the transformation into the post-industrial age, into the information age. Joe Biden is not someone who people think of as necessarily understanding why people don't find meaning in their lives or giving them a sense of meaning. And finally, I would say Joe Biden doesn't really talk very much or seem to have much of a feel for the real dangers of the partisanship and the polarization, not just in politics, but in media.